Find somewhere else. The key didn't fit. That was the first sign that our week in Cancun was about to cost us more than airfare and margaritas. What the? Mark tried his key, then mine again, then stood there staring at the lock like it might apologize and let us in. That's when my mother-in-law's face appeared in the window. Our window, wearing the satisfied smile of someone who'd been planning this moment since the day we got married. This is our son's house. Find somewhere else. Patricia's voice carried through the glass, clear as the vacation memories we'd just made that were already souring. My husband stayed silent. Not shocked silent. Prepared silent. Complicit silent. I looked at him, really looked at him, and saw everything I'd been too in love to notice before. The way he wouldn't meet my eyes. The way his hand wasn't reaching for his phone to call the police. The way he was already stepping back from the door like this was exactly what he'd expected to come home to. Mark. I said his name like a question, though the answer was already writing itself across his guilty face. We should talk, he mumbled, still not looking at me. You're right, I said, pulling out my key ring, not fumbling, not shaking, just calmly sorting through the keys until I found the one they didn't know about. We should definitely talk. But first. I walked to the garage, my heels clicking against the driveway we'd had repaved last spring. My driveway. Because while Mark and his parents thought they were playing three-dimensional chess, I'd been playing a completely different game. The bulldozer started with a roar that made Patricia jump back from the window. You're right. I called out over the engine. It is his house. But the land. That's been mine all along. My name is Jasmine Chen, and I'm 34 years old. When Mark and I got married 5 years ago, his parents gifted us the down payment for a house. What they actually gifted was a leash, their names on the deed, their rules for our life, their key to our front door that they used liberally whenever we weren't home to rearrange furniture, criticize my housekeeping via sticky notes, and apparently, change locks while we were on what was supposed to be our anniversary vacation. Patricia burst out the front door, my front door, her face cycling through colors like a broken TV. You can't. That's destruction of property. This is our house. The house is yours, I agreed, adjusting the bulldozer's controls. I'd gotten my heavy machinery license 2 years ago, telling Mark it was for a landscape design course. But according to the county records, you never purchase the land it sits on. Common mistake. People assume land and structure are a package deal. They are not. Mark's father, Richard, appeared beside her, holding papers like they were weapons. We have the deed. To the structure, I clarified, inching the bulldozer forward. Built on land owned by Chen Holdings LLC. That's me, by the way. Purchased 3 years ago when the previous landowner, lovely elderly woman named Mrs. Yamamoto, needed quick cash for medical bills. That's impossible, Mark finally spoke, his voice cracking. We would have known. You would have known if you'd read the lease agreement you've been automatically paying every month, I said. Buried in your mortgage account as property tax. Very reasonable rate, too. Though the lease does have some interesting clauses about what happens if the landowner's rights are violated. I pulled out my phone, still sitting on the bulldozer, and called my lawyer on speaker. Hey, David. I'm at the property. They changed the locks while I was gone. That violates Clause 18C, right? David's voice boomed clear and professional. Absolutely. Illegal eviction of the landowner grants immediate termination of land use rights. You're within your legal authority to reclaim your property by any necessary means. Any necessary means, I repeated, looking at my in-laws. How thorough. You planned this, Patricia accused, her perfect suburban housewife facade cracking. You've been planning this for years. I've been protecting myself for years, I corrected. There's a difference. Every time you used your key to enter my home without permission, I documented it. Every time you told Mark he could do better, I recorded it. Every time you tried to convince him to leave me for that pediatrician's daughter, I saved the emails. Mark went pale. You knew about Brittany? The dinner dates your mom arranged. The apartment she showed you last month while I was supposedly at my sister's. I laughed, but there was no humor in it. The doorman at that building is my client. I'm an attorney, Mark. Did you really think I wouldn't notice my husband apartment hunting with another woman? It wasn't like that, he started. It was exactly like that. I cut him off. Your mom has been trying to end our marriage since the day it started. And you never once defended me. Not once stood up to them. So I did what I do best. I prepared for litigation. Richard stepped forward, his face red with rage. You can't just destroy a house. I'm not going to destroy it, I said. That would be wasteful. I'm going to relocate it. Turns out, when you own the land, you can require any structures to be removed. I've generously given you, I checked my watch, 7 to 2 hours to move your house off my property. That's insane. It'll cost hundreds of thousands. Or, I said, turning off the bulldozer and climbing down, you can sign it over to me. The house you tried to steal me from. Sign it over, and I'll let you walk away without the publicity, without the lawsuits, and without having to explain to your country club friends how you committed fraud by claiming residence in a home you don't own the land for. What fraud? Patricia's voice had lost its edge, replaced by something closer to fear. Tax fraud, I said simply. You've been claiming homestead exemption on this property for 5 years. But it's not your homestead, it's Mark's and mine. That's federal. Then there's the identity theft when you used my social security number to refinance last year. Mark's head snapped toward his parents. You did what? It was for your own good. Patricia shrieked. The rates were better. We were helping. You were committing felonies, I corrected. But sure, frame it how you want. I pulled out a folder from my purse, the one I'd been carrying everywhere for 6 months, waiting for this moment. Transfer of deed, ready to sign. You give me the house, I give you freedom from prosecution. And Mark, the divorce papers are underneath. No alimony, I make 3 times what you do. You keep your car, your 401k, and whatever dignity you can salvage. Jasmine, please. Mark finally found his spine, or at least a rental version of one. We can work this out. Go to counseling. We went to counseling, I reminded him. You brought your mother to the 3rd session. The therapist fired us as clients. Patricia grabbed the papers, reading frantically. This is extortion. This is consequences, I said. Something you've never faced because you've always had money and manipulation to shield you. But here's what you didn't count on. I grew up with nothing. I built my career from scratch. I learned law not just to practice it, but to protect myself from people like you. A small crowd was gathering, neighbors drawn by the bulldozer's roar and the drama unfolding better than any reality show. You can't seriously expect us to sign, Richard said. I expect you to do what's best for your family, I said. Just like you always claimed to do. Though apparently, I was never family, was I? Just the inconvenient wife you couldn't wait to replace. I turned to Mark one last time. 5 years. 5 years I tried to make this work. Tried to earn their approval. Tried to get you to see me as more than the starter wife before your real life began. But you know what? I'm nobody's placeholder. A news van pulled up, because of course one of the neighbors had called them. Nothing like suburban drama to fill the 6 o'clock slot. Patricia saw the cameras and grabbed the pen, signing frantically. Richard followed, and finally Mark, his hand shaking as he signed away both the house and our marriage. Smart choice, I said, taking the papers. Your moving truck will be here in an hour. I hired the best company. They'll pack everything carefully. Your storage unit is paid for through the month. After that, it's your problem. Where are we supposed to go? Mark asked, looking lost. Your parents have that beautiful house in Westchester, I said. Oh wait, they mortgaged that for your failed restaurant venture, didn't they? Well, I'm sure Brittany has a couch you can crash on. As they stood there, frozen by their own choices, I walked into my house, fully mine now, and began the satisfying process of changing the locks myself. The bulldozer had been worth renting just for the expression on their faces, even if I never had to use it. Through the window, I watched them pile into Richard's Mercedes, Patricia already on the phone with someone, lawyer, realtor, maybe another potential daughter-in-law who didn't know what she was getting into. My phone buzzed. A text from my sister, saw the news. You okay? I looked around the house, quiet for the first time in 5 years. No passive-aggressive notes. No rearranged furniture. No mother-in-law dropping by to criticize my cooking while her son sat silent. Better than okay, I texted back. I'm home. The land had always been mine. The house was now mine too. But the freedom, that had been mine all along, I just had to be brave enough to claim it. And if it took a bulldozer to make that point, well, sometimes you have to speak in a language people understand.